Your theories are the worst kind of popular tripe, your methods are sloppy, and your conclusions are highly questionable.
Alright, everybody. Good evening. Dr. Incompetent here, getting ready to resume our beginner/newbie guide to Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup version 24. And we take Buns, the level 7 human berserker of Trog, back in. Alright, so, just a quick refresher on what the hell is happening. What I like to do is immediately get into the business of auto-exploring with the old O key. And let's see what we can find on dungeon level 4. We got another potion that we don't know what it does, and that's pretty much, like I was saying at the beginning of this game, which is that you are finding potions and scrolls and trying to figure out what they do. Oh, music is too loud, vocals too low. Okay, let me then switch that up. I thought I turned this music down significantly. Is that any better? Okay, here we go. Tell me if that's a better situation. Alright, so I'm exploring. And we've got a iguana. Now, an iguana is something that you want to be worried about because it can hit you hard. It looks dangerous, right? So that means that you need to be in a situation to protect yourself from its 15 damage. Oh, okay. Very good, very good. I'll just put it to like there and see if that's better. Alright. We're exploring it. Okay. We are done exploring. I'm just looking at my inventory to see if there's anything that I really want to do. I could use some of these scrolls to start trying to figure them out. Oh, okay, great. Thank you, sir. Oh, shoot. Give me 1 minute. You know what I have to do? I need to figure out some better way of doing this. I don't know if there's a plugin for OBS that would let me do this. Basically, every time I change the game I'm playing, I have to kind of edit the title for Twitch so that people know what the hell's going on. And that's a shame. Alright, almost there. Alright. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm doing Shift X and I'm looking for a staircase to go down. Now you'll see that it registers that this teleporter or transporter is a down staircase. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'm going down here. Right, look at that little money pile. You know how I feel about money. I always want it, right? Okay. You see what I mean though? This iguana is busting me up pretty good, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go berserk to finish the job. And rest, and rest, and rest, and keep resting until I am healed. And not berserk. Now you'll see that my hunger level has gone down to near starving. I was saying that you want to save rations for emergencies, and you do. And in my mind, this is an emergency. I don't have any meat to eat, and I need to eat this. Now you might be saying, well, why? You're not actually starving. Oh, I see. That makes sense. What Fading at the Edges is saying, he saves his scrolls and uses them on dungeon level 4 where he can find a temple. Yeah, I usually just use them as they pile up and if I need them for emergency situations. Now, for this particular build, which I'm advocating here, which is a sword and board Trog or Okawaru fighter type, especially if you go Trog, you don't want to be anywhere near starving, okay? Because you could get into a situation where you can't berserk because you're too hungry, and you're counting on that to get you out of so many jams. And so you don't want to turn that offline ever. Alright, we got a potion of curing. I don't know how that was identified. Are potions of curing identified now? I didn't think I ever used one before, but I just knew what this was when I picked it up. That's great though. I'll take a potion of curing. I want that all day. The main potions that you want to identify early in the game are potions of curing because you can right click on its description. It will cure poison and disease and heal some wounds. They're not great for healing a lot of hit points, and most of the time enemies can outpace the damage that they cure, so it's almost not worth using it. Unless you're fighting like enemies that don't hit that hard. But for the most, what you want to do with a potion of curing is use it to cure poison, because poison is one of the biggest nightmares. Oh, Fading at the Edges is saying that I might have seen a goblin drink one. That's actually correct. I didn't see a goblin drink one. I saw Terrence, who's a named asshole. I saw him drink one, and I didn't realize that, but that makes sense. So I saw him drink it, so now I know it identifies it for you based on, like, I got information from Terrence before he died horribly. So that's great. What that does is obviously it identifies the potion for me, so I know in a heartbeat if I need to cure poison, I can use that. But it also saves a potion for me because I don't have to waste one drinking it, and that's really helpful. The jelly quivers. Well, I've got my little resist corrosion ring on, so I'm kind of like ready for that guy. I think they do corrosion. They used to anyway. Ooh, what's this? Silver javelins. Hell yeah. I think these are actually even stronger. Let's see. 3 silver javelins. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. It deals increased damage to chaotic and magically transformed beings or mutated beings. Alright, so it's the same base damage as regular javelins, but better against mutated or certain other types of enemies. So that's worth remembering. And really, it's just nice to have more javelins because they're so good. Alright, so I got another scroll of detect curse. Ooh, we got a lot of orcs here. Alright, let me spend some time talking to you about orcs. If this is your first foray into Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, there's some stuff you need to know about orcs. There's several types. Generally, if you're not in the orc hideout, or you're not the Orcish Mines, which is a sub-branch of the game's dungeon, or deeper, you will only see regular orcs, orc wizards, and orc priests. And we don't have an orc priest in this group. Regular orc dudes just look like this, wearing some animal skin armor. This guy has a sword, this guy doesn't. And wizards wear this kind of like purpley robe with a staff, and priests are green. Priests are your nightmare. Priests can kill a high-level character because they do a little something called smite. Now, I don't know if they've changed the way that smite works, but smite is one of the biggest bitches in the game. It's a ranged attack that needs no, that passes through enemies. Okay, so if like people are blocking you, it doesn't protect you against it. So a priest from back here could be blasting you with their smite ability, and all of these squares could be filled up with orcs, and I can't get back to this guy to kill him because he's got, you know, orc shields in front of him or whatever. And smite ignores your armor class. And so I rely heavily on armor class to mitigate all damage, and so they are a #1 priority kill target if you ever see them. The wizards are annoying. They can turn invisible sometimes, but for the most part, priests are what you have to just be wary of all day, every day. All right, so this guy had a +1 robe of cold resistance, which is good if you're a caster. I am not. It's garbage for me, but I'm going to chop this guy up. I'm going to push C to chop this guy up, and I'm going to get another scroll. I have a crap load of scrolls, and so what I'm going to do at this point is just read some scrolls. I have most of this floor mapped, so if I get teleport, there's a very high probability that I won't just like zap myself into a room full of enemies and get killed. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just be like, oh, I'll try what a spell is, you know, what these scrolls are without knowing what's around, and then teleport next to a bunch of mean guys. That's bad. Okay, I went to level 8 and I got agility. I'm going to have to read on the wiki. I'm not sure about how this works, but I don't know if humans just get a random stat or if that agility is programmed. Either way, agility's great. Like, I'm not unhappy with that. I'm fine to get it up. I would have rather had strength, but agility is my second choice. Now, that's out of 3, mind you, but still. Now, let me just spend some seconds running around, and I'm done exploring. So now it's really safe to use some scrolls. Okay, so I'm going to use the scrolls that I have more than one of. I don't want to waste a scroll that I only have one of for this purpose. A scroll of fog. Generally, and you can't always rely on this, but generally if you get a bunch of a scroll, it's a lesser scroll. And, you know, the better scrolls, the rarer scrolls, you're only going to get one of those at a time usually, so you don't want to just accidentally use one of those really good ones. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes you can like find a stack of 3 enchant armor scrolls or whatever, and then that's great. What I got there was a scroll of fog. This is good for blocking line of sight for ranged attackers. Like, so if somebody's shooting a bow and arrow at you or they want to cast a spell at you, you can use this scroll of fog to make it so they can no longer see you and target you. Additionally, if you look at me, the squares that I can see have been drastically reduced. Like, remember, they're lit up a little bit. And outside of this, as soon as I move outside of my line of sight, you'll see that the box turns red, meaning like I don't know what's over there, and you can't target over there. So fog has its uses. I generally don't need to use it with my build because I'm not ranged, but it can protect you against certain things, like even the smite. I believe if they can't see you, then they can't cast smite, so they have to be really close to you. All right, let's use another one. Okay, so this scroll right here is a scroll of enchant weapon. It's saying that right down here at the bottom, and I left chainmail back with the orcs. Yeah, I did leave chainmail back with the orcs, which is better. However, the scale mail that I got from Terrence here is +4. So I'm not of the belief that chainmail is better than that, but I should have explained that. I have this +4 chainmail of fire resistance, so that's fantastic. Now, when you use a scroll of enchant weapon, it will then show you the weapons you can use. And right now, for this point in the game, the Morningstar is a better long-term investment, but I'm going to just put it on this +3 flail of venom. And why am I doing that? It's already +3, you say. Well, you can go all the way up to what, +10, I think, with weapons? Yeah, it is huge. It was like insane when I got that. I mean, it's like +4 armor. It was, yeah, I mean, on the second level of the dungeon. +4 scale mail, even, with fire resistance, too. Just outrageous. I'm going to put it on this weapon because it's got a brand, which is a decent brand. It's not the best brand, but it's better than nothing. And this is easier to hit with, and right now my skill is really crappy, so I'm going to use this. And now you'll see that my flail has gone up to +4, alright? And it can be maximally enchanted to +9, okay? So I could take this all the way up to +9 if I wanted. Now, for me at the moment, I'm probably going to leave this scroll of enchant weapon right here and not use it. And kind of like wait for something better. Maybe use it on my, like a morning star or an evening star that I can find that is branded a better base damage weapon. But the argument can really be made that you should just use stuff like this right away and not try to sandbag it. It's a risk-reward thing that you have to do. If you feel like you're way behind for the part in the game that you are, like you're at a point in the dungeon, you're like, man, my stuff sucks, then use everything you can, enchant armor, enchant weapon, just to sustain you. Exactly, that's what I'm trying to explain right now. I'm going to save the second one right now, but if I feel like I'm losing, if I'm not strong enough, I will use this to bump me up. Yeah, exactly. The delay is unreal. I wish somehow I could fix that. I mean, like, what do you think? I'll have to investigate online what could be causing delay. I've turned down all of the delay settings in Streamlabs OBS. I don't know if it's my internet, or if it's my computer, or if it's just the internet in general. If it's Twitch, I don't know. But it's unfortunate. Anyway. Enchant weapon scrolls, for me, as a fighter, are premium items. You're really lucky to get them. Enchant armor is also insane. Scroll of Amnesia, okay? So what a Scroll of Amnesia does is it lets you forget all your spells. If you're playing a caster and you get a spell, you get spell slots per level, and you can choose what spells you want to learn. And let's say you made a bad choice, and you're like, this spell, fucking sucks. I'm so upset that I learned this. You can use a Scroll of Amnesia to forget and reset, or there might be a spell that's like really good early game, but tapers off in effectiveness later, and you want to get rid of it. Amnesia can do that. For me, it's junk. I actually can't learn magic. Trog will get really pissed, and I only have 8 magic points, so I'm going to just drop this. I never need to have a Scroll of Amnesia. And I'll read it. It allows the reader to selectively erase one. Oh! Okay, it's way better than I thought. I thought it just erased all your shit. That shows you how many times I use Scrolls of Amnesia. It lets you erase one spell, so that's really nice. It's not just all your spells are gone. Okay. Very good. Okay, so now this scroll that I used was a Scroll of Teleport. Let's explain how teleport works. Teleport is an oh shit button. It gets you out of a situation by teleporting you to a random location within the floor of the dungeon that you are on. This is great because you can get away from enemies and save yourself. However, it doesn't work like you might expect. It puts a buff on you, or I guess that's how you want to describe it. It says Telly right here in blue. And it doesn't go off instantly. You actually have to pass a few turns before you teleport. You see how in the text it says, I feel strangely unstable? It's like I'm about to teleport. And watch, I will take 1 step, 2 steps, and then I teleport. And I can't control where I go. You can get controlled blink. I don't know if you can get controlled teleport as a caster, probably. But again, I don't play casters that much. But for my purposes, it's random. So you might, jump out of the frying pan and into the fryer, but for the most part, you won't. So you just need to know that if you want to use a teleport scroll to get out of something, you can't use it when you're at like 1 hit point, because it has to take a few turns to go into effect. And what that means is you need to use it, much like the Berserk, before shit goes completely sideways. Like you start to see, I'm gonna lose this, teleport, and then start running away so you can minimize how much damage you take before you do your teleport. Alright, now I don't have any more 1-ofs, or I'm sorry, more than 1-ofs with scrolls. I'm gonna drink this pink potion, and it's a potion of magic, okay? I was really hoping it was a potion of heal wounds. That would have been unbelievably overpowered for me. This sucks. I don't need this. Oh, wow. Okay, so Fading at the Edges is saying Controlled Teleport has been taken out of the game. And Controlled Blink is now a level 8 spell. I think it used to be a lot lower than that, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to drop these potions of magic. Your inventory space is kept to this 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 grid. Now this adjusts based on the scaling of your window, but anyway, you see I'm half full on inventory, and you might be like, you have so much space. I do, but it's good to just manage your inventory as you go, and then if you drop an item, you'll notice that this potion of magic, much like the Scroll of Amnesia, no longer have the green arrows surrounding the box, meaning that I have told the auto pickup to ignore these items. And so I will never pick up another potion of magic unless I actively do it myself by walking over it and then left-clicking on it or pushing G. You can toggle that on and off by doing that, but I like to just drop stuff that I know I'm never going to want, okay? So I'm like, I'm never going to use a potion of magic. That's not helpful for me right now. Later in the game it might be, and I'll change that, but for now, get the hell out of my inventory. All right, let's find a staircase. Oh, okay, this is a good time to talk about this. I'm going to go to this staircase. You see how this staircase is, yeah, you're right. Like, I could get a spirit shield item, and Spirit Shield is a item that like takes your magic points as hit points, and so you might want to quaff that potion to get your magic points back, so that they function as hit points for you. So in that case, I would come back and pick those potions up. And let me talk about actually one more thing after that. But first, I need to talk about this red hatch. Alright, so if you right-click on this, it will explain it for you. A spring-loaded one-way escape hatch, and the key is one way. These red staircases, like, you can go down them or up them, but then they close, and you can't use them again. So I pretty much avoid them at all costs, because you don't want to go down into an unexplored area and not be able to escape. That just seems like a really bad plan. Again, if you want to die and you think that's hilarious and you want to have some fun, do it. You know what I mean? But I would say no. Now, the second thing I want to mention is, let's say I want those magic potions that I dropped. I'm like, oh shit, I dropped some magic potions. Where the hell were those? The game has an amazing search feature. So if I push Control F, okay, it's like search for what? Now you can push question mark to get help, and it's brings up a description of all of the things that you can type in. But what I'm going to do is just be like, magic, okay? And now it's telling me, hey, I found one match for the word magic, and it's right here, and it's this potion. And you can then click on it, and it will show you where it is, and then you can like move to it by pushing enter. It will path to it for you. So it's really, really useful. What I like to use it for is if I'm like thinking, shit, didn't Did I see a pair of boots yet? Did I just not find a pair of boots or a shield or some plate armor or something? Like, did I leave something like that behind? And then you can search for, like, plate armor and verify, nope, you haven't found one. Or a shield, nope, you haven't found one. Or boots, nope, you haven't found that. So that's a very, very powerful tool. Instead of, like, having to wander around being like, derp, 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 didn't I see that somewhere? Where is it? Okay, I'm exploring. All right, it's a bullfrog, okay? He doesn't see me, the question mark. I'm going to just move toward him. He sees me. Now, bullfrogs can be surprisingly dangerous because they jump. And so, like, you see how he just covered a bunch of ground with his jump? They also hit kind of hard. So don't underestimate bullfrogs. I mean, look how fracking big this guy is, right? And again, right click, he looks dangerous. He evades, so he's hard to hit, and he's jumping around everywhere, all right? So I'm just gonna hit this guy. I'm gonna hit this guy. He can't even do damage to me, which is great. My armor skill went up to 5. Tremendous. I got another scroll, which doubles me up on this scroll category. And now that I know it can't be teleport, I'm going to use it. And it's a scroll of noise. Again, another reason that you don't want to use unidentified scrolls in a place that you haven't explored. So I kind of like violated my own best practice that I'm advocating there. But it's because I'm very strong and I was by a staircase. And I also made a mistake. Now, the scroll of noise is a bitch because it's like, hey, everybody come kill me. And now everybody in the area is not going to be surprised by me. Anyway, I'm going to kill this guy and eat him. And I'm going to drop the scroll of noise because screw that. I never want that scroll again. So as you can see, we're slowly but surely making progress finding out what all the scrolls are. And yes, if you haven't noticed, there's a shitload of potion types and a shitload of scrolls in this game. As you get better, you will learn which ones you value the most. That was a magical dagger, but that sucks for me, so I'm not even going to bother with it. The adder skeleton, I'm going to throw my javelins at him and kill him. How are my skills doing? Good. At some point, I'll turn fighting back on. Fighting is a skill that just generally gives you more hit points. I'll show you the description. Fighting increases your accuracy and damage in physical combat and also increases your maximum health. So it's actually pretty good, but the benefit in terms of like to hit and damage that it gives you, it may have changed, but it's much worse than the actual benefit that you get from your weapon skill. And so right now, I just kind of have it turned off. I'm okay with the 3. I'm gonna throw some shit at this guy. Bam. Bap him in the face. Get out of here, you imp. You Crims imp. Trying to teleport everywhere. Ooh, I'm hitting him with my poison darts. He's got the poison icon on him. It does shit to him, but... Imps are really annoying because they can just kind of like flicker and blink everywhere. They don't do it very much damage, but they're hard to hit. Now I'm hungry, so I'm immediately going to push E, and then push E again to eat one of my perishable items. It will default to that, and that's what I want to do. I sure as hell don't want to eat one of my cool rations. It's a scroll of identify. That is terrific. I'm going to get that. Alright, so identify, I don't need to use it right now. I don't have anything. I'm going to drop this ring of stealth, by the way. Screw that. I'm never going to need that. It's never going to... a ring of stealth can be good, but it's never going to compensate for the fact that I have all this heavy armor on, and I'm really noisy. So I'm not going to get the benefit of it. Now this is a shitty spot that I find myself in. I'm just in this wide open space, and so I default just kind of like pushed F to throw something like a javelin at this adder, but then I realized I'm way too exposed here. So what I need to do is back up. This snake moves really fast, so he'll move with me. He might even get a hit or two on me. Yeah, he just got a hit on me there. I mean, he missed, but he tried to hit me. And this is good enough. I'm fine with this. I'm just going to tab this out. You'll see what I did was a popular tactic for me. So let me emphasize this. You see how it just says no target in view a whole shitload of times in a row? That's because I just held down the tab key. I'm extremely impatient. You know, I've played this game and died so many times. So what I do is I just hold down the tab key, which is the auto attack. Now you might say that seems really stupid. What if you get hurt? Well, built into the auto attack is a point where it will no longer attack because you're too injured. It's like it'll say you're too injured to fight recklessly, and it won't let you do it. However, in my experience, I've learned that the point that the game is programmed to stop you from auto attacking is too low. And what I do is I go into the INI file of the game and I adjust the stop rate. So basically I change the percentage of my hit points that triggers a stop of auto attack. So like I actually put it really high. I think the game stops you at like 30% or maybe even 50%. I like to stop at like 70%. Because I found that you need way more hit points than you would think to get out of an unpleasant situation. So like, let's just say you're holding down tab and then you realize, whoa, this guy's hitting me for a lot harder than I want. If you only have 30% of your health, you might be dead anyway. You might not be able to actually course correct to save yourself. So I like to just play it cautious and go at 70. Now, here's a spell book. If you were a spellcaster, you'd be pooping and peeing in your pants with joy that you find a spell book. However, I'm a Trog man. Trog hates these things. But Trog gives you a cool ability that you can do. I'm going to push A, and oh, did they take Burn Spellbook out of the game? You used to be able to, like, fracking have Trog just set this on fire, and it would gain you piety. And you could even do damage to people with it. But apparently you can't do that anymore. Oh, funny. Okay, so instead what happened is Trog did it himself. This is right by an altar of Trog. You will always recognize the altar of Trog because it's got blood pouring down it. An altar does nothing for me when I'm already a practitioner of the faith. I can like offer a prayer to him, but it doesn't... I'm already Trog man, so it does nothing. I'm actually a good Trog man. My title is Human of Prey, and I'm a rising star in the eyes of Trog because I'm awesome. Trog will gift you ammunition as you gain piety. So he will just slowly give me ammo. I don't know if that's... Oh, the books are no longer inventory items. Wow, that's amazing. They used to clunk up so much space. Like my stash in the game would just be mainly spell books and food. It was just like food and spell books and some scrolls and potions. Anyway, we'll talk about stashes later, but basically you get to a point where your inventory is so chock full of crap that you can't hold very much. So you just go to a safe place. And you just drop a whole bunch of your gear and make a little stash for yourself and come back and dip in and out as you need. I don't know if the ammunition that Trog gives me is based on the ammunition that I have in my inventory, or if it's even better if it's prioritized based on what's in my quiver, or if he's just going to start giving me just random shit to throw at people. We'll find out. Come here. Okay. Now, this is an ice beast. Ice beasts are actually pretty challenging. It looks dangerous, right? So I'm going to step back. I'm actually going to step up here because I don't know what's down there. I think that's a good choice to not have it be an inventory item. It was just a pain in the butt to have a bajillion spell books. You would just literally be carrying around a bookshelf. Okay, so I'm going to push S and wait for this guy to come get me. And I'm going to be like, hello, Iceman. And I'm going to start fighting him. If this goes really badly, like this is okay, but if I take one more big hit, I'm going berserk. Okay, I got him. I'm going to rest. and I'm going to keep exploring. Oh, I got a shield. Yes! This is a freaking joyous day to discover a shield. Shields are like my absolute favorite thing. That's why I never go two-handed weapon in this game. I know a lot of people swear by two-handed weapon. Oh, okay, so fading at the edge of the saying is actually not based on the items that I have, but based on the skills that I have. So if I have better throwing, or ranged weapons, then he'll give me like arrows for bows or crossbows or javelins. So if I train a little throwing, I should get stuff. So I'm actually gonna just level up throwing just enough to guarantee that I don't get arrows and shit from Trog, because I'm never gonna use a bow. That's just never gonna happen. Now I got my shield, okay, and I'm going to put it on. You'll see here that my shield skill is 0, alright, I'm going to throw it on. Immediately, it wrecks my evasion from 10 to 7, but it more than makes up for it with a shield. And what does a shield do? Let's right-click on it to talk about it. This is a regular plus 0 shield. Its base shield rating is 8. You need to have a shield skill of 15 to remove the penalty that you get. And the penalty impedes your evasion, your spellcasting ability, and attack speed. Alright? This is the like the medium shield. A buckler offers less base shield rating, less protection, but is easier to master and encumbers you less. It can be maximally enchanted to +5, okay? Now, you might not know necessarily what a shield does, but it basically blocks all incoming physical damage, and it can even block spells. Oh, you have to actually get the skill up to 4, it's not like 0.1. Alright, well, thank you for clarifying that, I appreciate that. Yeah, but this ammo gift thing is a new, because Trog gives you just weapons later, but I see what you're saying. I don't want him to give me, like, a stack of javelins, necessarily, but I think he'll do that anyway. Okay, but regardless, I'm going to turn off throwing, because I need to turn shields on, okay? Dodging, it's gonna, I don't know how the hell that got on. If I just I accidentally pushed F. Okay, anyway. Shields, armor, maces, and flails. That looks great. Okay, so now I've got 2 of these scrolls. What do you do? It's a blink scroll. Yay! Alright, so blink is wow, okay. Blink is an amazing escape method. It's one of the best escapes in the game because you have, if you use it from a scroll, you have control over it. And anywhere in my line of sight, I can jump to that space, and it happens immediately, unlike teleport. So if I'm like in a fight with somebody and somebody's hitting me hard, I can just blink here, for example, okay? Now, the problem is they can still see you and do range damage to you, so even if you can run away, you might get into a spot where you die. But for the most part, it's a great way to get out of, especially like a swarm of enemies. So now I know what that scroll is. It's wasteful to use a blink scroll to identify itself, but the upside of it is that now I have a blink scroll that I know what it is, and if I get into an oh shit situation, I can use that immediately. I don't have to like try to just use scrolls and pray, I hope this is my blink scroll, I don't know, it's unidentified. So there we go. I've actually have 4 scrolls of identify now, so if I get more than 1 in any of these potion stacks or scroll stacks, I will identify them. But for now, I'm not going to waste it on just one thing. That's just my opinion, man. You might be a person who feels like using that stuff immediately, and that's fine. I just am a little bit slower to use identify scrolls because I want to make sure if I get an item that it's good and I know what it does. Okay. Now, there could be an argument to be made, and I'll have to play version 0.24. Remember, I'm more acclimated to previous versions, so it didn't used to identify all the attributes on a piece of equipment when you picked it up and used it, but now it appears to do that. So there might be an argument to be made for using that right away, but I'm still going to save it. Now I'm fighting a scorpion, which can be a son of a bitch, because he poisons you and he hits you pretty hard, but he's about to die. He's dead. Alright, I'm getting hungry, but that's okay. Just regular hungry is okay. Very hungry is getting to be... I'm not too happy about that, but I'm near starving. Okay, so now I have to eat one of my breads, my rations. I don't like to do that, but I didn't have any meat on me. Alright, so we have explored dungeon level 6, and we're done with it. Time to go to the next level. Shift X to search. Shift period to go down steps. Or look for a down staircase, I should say, and I'm going to go down. What do we got? We got an ogre, that's for sure. So I'm just going to throw shit at this ogre until he gets on me. Now, I don't know if I need to go berserk right away. I didn't. If he would have hit me once, I would have gone berserk. Oh, okay, so I'm getting some clarification that not all gear self-identifies, so then it is still worthwhile to save your identify scrolls like I'm doing. So we killed that guy easily without having to use berserk, which is good. Because to be honest, berserk doesn't like take anything from us in terms of piety. Like, we can just keep using it. The main cost of berserk is that it makes you vulnerable and that it uses food. Really, it just makes you really hungry. I wasn't worried about vulnerability in that spot. I just don't want to waste food. Hey, I reached level 9, which means I get to pick where my stat goes. And it's going to be strength. And so now I got a nice big 20 strength. Pushing O to auto-explore, running around. Worker ant just gets blasted by me. Ooh, it's a room full of dogs. Jackals. Alright, well, I'm going to show you something. This is probably ill-advised, but it's fun. Tab I have been using to auto-attack, but you can also, like, if I push tab and I have a melee weapon equipped, it will path to the nearest enemy that it wants to target. And so you see I push tab and it actually moves for me. And then it moves up to the guy, and then I can just keep pushing tab and hit this guy. Where'd they go? I don't understand. How did I kill all three in one blow? I'm not using an axe. Oh well, I'll take it. Griffins are kind of tough. They hit hard. Got them. You see that my shield skill is level 2, and that just added straight up to the shield. I was at 7 before, and now it is at 9. Your shield skill, let me see if I can get information on this, affects your chance to block, and when you do block, you block all the damage. So the higher that number, the better you are at blocking. It's a glowing centaur barding. Okay, there's the ecumenical temple on level 7. Remember, as I said, it's generally on level 5 or 6, but it can be deeper or shallower. Fading at the edge of saying like level 4 is about as early as it will appear, and here I am on level 7, and it's here. I don't need to go in there. I'll show you it. You go in there, and it's generating the dungeon. It's building it, and this is what it looks like, sort of. I mean, in the sense that it's randomly generated each time from a set of possibilities. So you can see that there's all these different gods that I could go worship. And if I did want to just change gods, I can do that if I want. Like, I can go switch gods. But Trog will get really pissed at me, and he'll start sending his evil hordes after me, and like just randomly I'll get exhausted. He'll make me exhausted randomly, which sucks. Like, you could be in the middle of a fight and get exhausted. That could kill you. And he'll also just summon people to come fight you. Big, scary monsters, too. Wow. And at any time, it could be like, while you're fighting. So if you want to switch off of Trog, just be prepared that at any time you're going to have to suffer his wrath and bad guys are going to come fight you. After a certain point, like when you get strong enough, it's not that big of a deal. It could still be a pain in the ass, but usually you can, like, I get to a point where I'm just like, I'm solid. I can take anything Trog throws at me, and it's worth my time to switch gods. Here's an altar of Sif Muna and a ring. So this is why, one of the main reasons why I keep identify scrolls is for rings, because just like there's a lot of potions and scrolls in this game, there's a lot of rings. So let's see what this ring is. It's a +4 ring of intelligence. All right, that's great. I'm not going to use it, but you know, some people would be really excited about that. A +4 ring of strength would have caused me to shit my pants. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This is a priest right here, Orcish priest. It says it looks easy. You know, it's like, hey, there's no problem here. But he has the ability to heal people that you're fighting, which sucks. This smiting ability, which is just outrageously bad. And then he can cast pain, which is also not something that you want to have happen. Speaking of orcs, the other most common type of orc, oh shit. Alright, these are bees. Bees are one of the hardest guys for me to deal with, generally, because they evade and they poison the crap out of you. Alright, let's see if I can hit one of these guys. I killed one. Alright, I killed two. I'm going to use Trog's ability to regenerate instead of going Berserk here. And the reason I'm doing that is because Berserk makes me punch things really hard and it gives me extra hit points, which is great. But against enemies that have really high evade, if you go Berserk, there's a chance that I could just whiff against this guy and then come out of Berserk and be slow and just get my ass kicked. And I don't want that. So I'm going to push A and I'm going to use Trog's hand on myself. And you'll see I have 45 hit points. I killed the guy, killed the bee, and I killed the frog, and I can chop the frog up. And I am poisoned, but I've got regen and magic resist ++. So I'm actually gaining more hit points than I'm losing from the poison. So I'm just going to wait until everything wears off. And we're ready to go. It's an ogre. And he's got a giant spiked club. That's a pain in the ass. Alright. But we got him. Ogres, once you can hit them with a high damage weapon, are usually not that bad, but they can still just get a big sock on you that's annoying. Ooh, a wand. Yet another reason why I liked... Actually, no, it came identified. Wand of Acid. With 10 charges. Sweet, you don't have to identify wands anymore? Well, that's great. Used to have to identify those. I got another Scroll of Enchant Weapon. I'm going to use one on my flail. It's working out really well for me. It's doing fine damage for this part of the game. And I just want to be able to hit and do even more damage. Keep myself alive longer. I should note that back down there was a War Axe. If you're choosing to go axes with this build, or this type, I should say, War Axe is... I believe the highest base damage one-handed axe you can get, so it's an excellent type. It wasn't magical, but it still hits really, really hard. And so, look out for war axes. Okay, and we have just done level 7 completely. I have 2 scrolls right here of this, so I'm actually going to use an identify on the stack of 2. Scrolls of Immolation. Fantastic. A scroll that fills the creatures around the reader with an unstable and powerful inner flame. Oh. Didn't this used to hurt you? Like, I thought Immolation would actually just do big fire damage to everybody in the square, including you. Maybe I'm just a moron. I don't know how Trog feels about this. I could use this. So wands do self-ID. Fading at the edges has verified that. That's great. Now, I do want to say that something that I think is funny, and you need to pay attention for, like, for example, a Scroll of Torment. It's an evil scroll, and if you are like Shining One or some good god and you use it, most of the time, gods will give you like a once in a game break for accidentally using something that you're not supposed to. They'll be like, hey, you used a Torment scroll, you shouldn't have fucking done that. And Inner Fire does fire damage over time. Anyway, so they'll give you that like once, that get out of jail free card for the one time you use the Scroll of Torment, but if you do it again, then you suffer their wrath. So it's nice that it doesn't completely fuck you, but oh, Inner Fire means when they die, they explode on you. Yeah, that's what I thought. I always just drop Immolation Scrolls, and that's why. I knew it was something really shitty that you don't want. Alright, I'm out of here with that. There's probably a way to use that to advantage if you're like ranged person, but I'm not ranged person, so get the hell away from me. Alright. Okay, let's go down. Another scroll of Detect Curse, another scroll of Identify. That's just great. Okay, this is the orc that I'm looking for, the Orc Warrior, alright? Not all the time, but very often, they'll have Plate Mail, which is the armor type that I'm looking for. The reason I'm looking for it is because of its, again, base defend, its base armor class. Because basically that's a flat subtraction from the armor that you're taking. And it's not just a roll like your armor class is. So, you want Plate Mail really badly. It would still slow me down, but it's just so good. Now, unfortunately, Orc Warriors are dangerous because they have battle axes, which can do outrageous amounts of damage, and they're strong. But I'm just going to fight this guy. If he hits me, I'm going to go berserk. But yeah, this is where you can really see my flail taking off here, because this is Orc is an enemy type that I can poison. So he's been poisoned, and I'm easily able to hit him with my 9.5 Maces and Flail skill. And I'm also able to get some poison on him, so this isn't that hard, although it just got harder because this piece of shit Orc Priest is back here. He's holding like the 10 Commandments or something, like a big stone slab. I assume like a religious artifact. I just want to break that slab, but he's protected by these wargs, which are actually pretty hardy. And so if he wanted to start smiting me, I would be getting fucked up, but he's not doing that to me. Alright. This warg is hitting me pretty hard, and there's 2 enemies here, so I'm going berserk, and I'm going to kill this guy easily and then kill this guy. Unfortunately for me, there's just chainmail. It's +0 chainmail. So, boo. Nothing that I want. No plate mail from that guy. Anyway, I'm just going to rest until I'm full, and kill this dog, or the hound, or whatever, and chop him up so I can eat him. Yeah, did you see that? That wasn't him smiting me. That was this dickhead using a wand. Okay, so this is how difficult this game is. I'm kind of just cruising, just beating the shit out of stuff. And then this guy used a wand of disintegration on me, and it hit me so hard I was at 64 and now I'm at 28. So, you know, this guy blasted me for 36 damage, and there's nothing I could have done about it. It's like the second I stepped into his field of view, he just hit me for 36. I'm going to step away again, and hopefully he doesn't pop that wand again. I'm going to step out of his field of view, and I'm going to step around this corner. So now you see the field of view is like this, which means that he has to get to here before he can see me and do anything. So I'm going to use Trog's hand to start regenerating and just wait for this dickhead. And now I'm going to move up on him, and I've got a bunch of hit points back now, and I can just easily take this shithead. Yeah, exactly. I could have blinked. If he would have tried to shoot me again, I would have blinked. But I didn't need to at the moment. I felt like I was safe, but it was just a risk. Did we get the damn wand? Yeah, okay, but we did pick up a 14 charge Wand of Disintegration, which is a terrific ranged item to get. Now, ooh, I got a Wand of Digging. Wand of Digging is really cool. Let me show you why. This will be the last thing I show you before I end the stream for the night, but Wand of Digging is a nice thing. I'm going to use it. And I'm going to blast this wall. You see it's just a flat wall, but if I dig through it, okay? And I dig a tunnel this deep. What this is useful for is if you're in a situation where you need a tunnel of death, like I like to call it, and you know, there isn't one around. It's an open area, and you're just against a blank wall with no corridor. You can make your own corridor, blasting this and then stepping into it, and then luring enemies inside this chamber, and so you can fight them one at a time. It's just an extremely useful thing to be able to do. You can also use it to move around, like find a shortcut or get out of a jam, get around something, look for hidden treasure, stuff like that. But that is the primary reason I have Wands of Digging, is to build a little corridor and fight guys one at a time. Now, let me right click on the Wand of Disintegration and just talk to you quickly about why these are good. It's a magical device which disrupts the physical structure of a target creature, dealing heavy damage and bypassing armor. So that's why it hit me so hard. It bypassed my armor. It doesn't give you too much information about the wand itself, but it does tell you that to use a wand is evoking. And I'm going to push M to look at my skills and show you evocation. Let's see. Evocations affect your ability to use magical items like wands and other uncommon objects. High skill may increase the power or success rate of such items and may also let you determine the amount of charges a zap wand has left, which seems to already just be built into the game. It also affects your magical reserves, but to a lesser degree than spellcasting, and only the highest contribution is used. So it gives you more MP. So for me, I'm never going to raise spellcasting, so evocations is actually what will raise my base MP, which can be nice, like as Fading at the Edges said earlier, if you get an item that will drain your magic instead of your hit points. Some god abilities actually do cost magic, so having some magic points is helpful. But the main thing you want to get evocations for is to get good with wands. And so you can have, like, you know, if you get a wand of fireballs or something and you get high evocations, you can blast people from afar and do damage. It's actually a skill that I start training if I start getting good wands later in the game, once my base, my, you know, holy quatrain is filled. And my holy quatrain is fighting, maces and flails, or whatever weapon you want to use, armor and shields. Those are the ones that I raise up. And once those are like really established, I start going for things like unarmed combat, evocations, maybe throwing, you know. But that's pretty much it. Invocations too, if I am worshiping a god that requires it, but Trog is so sweet that his shit is not affected by invocations, so it doesn't matter. Oh, he had a nice little axe of electrocution. Anyway, I think that's enough. For me, I need to go to sleep. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for taking a look at Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Hopefully my advice has been somewhat helpful. Please, if you have any questions about the game, you can message me on Twitch or YouTube and ask me a question, or you can post a question in the comments below, or you can come hang out. Unarmed does it used to give you an extra attack, like you would headbutt people and shit. Unarmed. It was just like it's a low damage, but it would just let you get an extra attack in there, like. But anyway, if you have questions, post them in the comments, or come to the Twitch stream. I'm usually streaming from like 10 to about 1, Monday through Friday. So if you're interested, stop on by and chat it up. Anyway, have a great evening, everybody.